All right, folks, welcome back to the broadcast. Thanks so much for tuning in and watching those ads for us. But you know, I gotta say, I wasn't expecting have so many people sub right after kind of doing that spiel. So I'm gonna quickly, just for the sake of this, put the tip jar on just for a moment. I'm gonna get rid of this like right after. Where's this? Boop. Because I want to play out all those. I'm going to replay all the people who just subbed to the channel. So, thank you, Blue Angel 6. Thank you to Killer Kiwi. Thank you to Zygos SC. Thank you to SC2 Awake. Thank you to SC Zane. Thank you to Minty Guard. Mounty Guard, excuse me, all for those Twitch Prime subs that just rolled in. You guys are absolutely awesome and fantastic. And thank you for taking advantage of the Twitch Prime features and choosing us as well. We really double down and appreciate that. Plus, it's just cool to see some new sub hype.
Yep.
Oh, my cat. What are you doing, kitty? Oh, damn it. Okay, I gotta go hunt. I can't leave my cat unattended in my room because she'll pee on things. She's adorable and I love her, but she's a troublemaker. So, I'm gonna be back in just a sec.
Just a second.
Millie!
We're still waiting on DnS and Snute to, and I guess make the map. That's what they did first. Otherwise, Nerchio Bly is in the lower bracket and Broddick versus Blue Cheese. Luthien ended up forfeiting against Blue Cheese.
Oh, that's sad. I think Over StarCraft's going on today, right? So some people might be choosing just to go play that instead.
Okay.
But my super growly kitty has been super grumpy lately, and I don't know why, and I feel really sad because I want her to not be grumpy. But that's Millie, guys. Throw down some ace cates if you got them. Oh, no, what are you doing? Ah! I gotta go kick her out of my room. I'll be back again in a second. Thank you to Narcotic for subbing just now, too.
Yes, thank you. So, let's see, I'm taking a break. I know DnS is here.
Ugh. Yeah, well, hopefully not too long of a break. It's a I gotta put my camera back on. It's a qualifying match. We don't want to have this held up for too long. But in the meantime, the bottom side of the bracket, as you mentioned, has some people forfeit out. But again, Nerchio, Bly, Braddock, Blue Cheese, Snute, and DnS are the 6 players contending for that those last 2 spots at this point.
Yep. So some racial balance.
Yeah. So if we do this correctly, then we should have this winners bracket finals, losers bracket semifinals, and losers bracket grand finals. So we'll have 3 best of 3s left at this point, I believe.
Yeah, 2 or 3, depending how long this one takes, I guess.
That's not too bad. I don't mind having a shorter qualifier session, I suppose, but it is still surprising. I'm wondering if, is just the appeal of this being a live event actually turning some people off? Because we knew that happened with the Koreans, where a lot of them didn't want to have the possible conflicts with GSL, so they didn't want to play.
I don't know about that. I actually was thinking the low signups and check-ins for today and yesterday would have to be because everyone's going to be exhausted from playing IAMs, because you can play on all of them. That
could be true as well. Regardless, I would actually be kind of... I really don't mind who ends up going to our finals. The nice thing about a lot of our events is we see a lot of the same people end up making it to the end of a lot of these. The Snoots, the Nerchios, and so forth. But I'm just really sad that we didn't see any participation from you, Thermal, at all. Harstem, yeah. He's busy subbing to the channel, not playing. I don't know what's going on, but I guess a lot of these guys, I don't know, just a little bit sad, I guess. Because for us, we're still getting views. We still get you guys having a good show. I just personally would love to see more of our favorite players playing is all.
Yeah, I guess so. It might really just be the IAM thing. It was it's kind of unfortunate timing in that regard, because even if they couldn't play in all the qualifiers, because a lot of the Europeans are talking about playing in the NA qualifiers as well, it still would be a long day.
Everyone's farming that NA region.
Yeah, because, well, Korea's farming everywhere else.
I guess. All right, well, looks like the game's ready to go. Actually, it's funny because I guess the European time for those tournaments, ridiculously late at night in Korea, is better than waking up ridiculously early for the NA ones.
I guess. Like, I mean, you think the server would be the least likely, but they're also contaminating
It's
that
probably
qualifier.
if I'm guessing, it's probably time. It's like you don't want to wake up early, right? Like, it doesn't matter what the options are for. Same with me. Like,
Gamers are mostly night people. It's true.
all right, well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the TING Season 3 European Qualifiers. You're watching the finals for the winner's bracket of the second European Qualifier, meaning one of these two players will qualify through into the round of 32. Spawning in the bottom right side of the map, we do have the red Protoss. It's DnS!
In the bottom left, as the blue Zerg, he is Liquid Snute.
All right, so you mentioned before you thought maybe DnS might even have the upper hand. Some tricks and such. What are your thoughts on that?
No, I didn't mean against Snute. I meant in comparison to Braddock against Snute.
Oh, okay,
I think Snute still wins 2-0, actually.
DnS really has not been too bad of a player, but he's certainly not been the tournament contender that we look towards when we're thinking of players like Snute or otherwise. So yeah, I think for me, I come into this certainly on hashtag Team Snute for this, or what's that hashtag TL win people do and stuff like that.
Oh, sure.
But DnS might surprise us. The thing I've been really enjoying about the Korean Protoss is we've seen them really change things up. But if DnS is still playing the style that is, hey, I'm going for the Robo, I'm going for the Dark Shrine, I'm doing the most expected Protoss build in the universe, Snute's the kind of guy who should be ready to deal with that. I really can't see him falling apart to something like that.
Right. I think that there are weirder options, I guess, for Protoss. Ones that depend on not being scouted and just like, fake outs, fake thirds, than there are for Terran, which is why I kind of gave DnS a bit of an edge. But beyond that, I'm not saying that he can only win if he gets cheese. There was at least one game where DnS looked quite good control-wise. That made me like, okay, maybe this guy in the future will actually be the top contender even against Snute. But I don't know if today's that day.
Well, I see you talking about chicken in chat. Are you getting the Korean chicken that you've been craving so badly?
Kind of. Like, so in Korea, you could get Korean chicken that was boneless. And I've had boneless chicken wings, whatever they're called, I guess, when they're not bones, in America. And they just taste like Chinese food. It was gross. In Korea, it was so good, right? Like, back me up on this.
Well, so I certainly enjoyed the different types of chicken we got to sample, but surprisingly enough, the weirdest one for me that I enjoyed was that one in the restaurant you and I went to, where the lady came by. I was like, no, don't eat until you like salt and pepper it or whatever.
Oh, you really like that one? Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, okay, that one too, but for me, it was the cheese one, man. Like, it was so
yeah,
good.
the my chicken.
Oh my god. Yeah, exactly. But
Yeah.
there's no place near me, even near Korea, even in Koreatown. The only place I have chicken and beer places, but they're all with bones. So I'm gonna go to Bonchon and get some like second-rate Korean fried chicken, like whatever.
Oh, now you've made me terribly hungry. I hate you.
Yeah,
Actually,
well, I have to
I didn't
starve
have
myself
that.
up to that point. So
Yeah, I didn't have that feeling in my stomach till just meow. I will say though, I probably could have eaten a lot more yesterday, just thinking all the calories I've been walking around. I should have taken advantage by getting chicken. Curses!
probably
Said I had Subway because I just love Subway so much.
you can still do it though. Like some people do their calories per week, man. Eat packet calories. Delicious. Anyway, I made myself hungry again. Just had a snack.
And everyone blames Rifkin for derailing the broadcast. Jeez.
You did derail it. You brought it up in chat. Or you
Fair-
brought me up in chat.
Fair enough. We worked together to accomplish the goal of not casting StarCraft. Job well
Beautiful.
done.
Yes.
Everyone thinks like, oh, these guys are trying to take feedback, learn how to cast the game better. Secretly, our job's just to never cast. Like that's our mission.
Yeah, the closer we get to zero casting of the actual game, the more we pat
It's
ourselves on
golf.
the back.
We're golf casters.
Amazing.
All right, so DNS went for the Oracle, and I like the Stargate opener for a lot of different things, but the reason I didn't start talking about it and gushing wasn't because we were having silly times, but because DNS actually has not been a player to show a lot of Phoenix play, or more importantly, this weird Void Ray builds we've been seeing some people bust out. Like, this is just for the Oracle for the time being, and if there had been a second one in production, we could have talking about even more how we're seeing a lot of Koreans specifically go for like 4 Oracles and otherwise, but two's like, I don't know. Feels a bit light, even.
Well, combined with the Adepts, 2 of them can actually kill it actually can kill Zerg if they're really underprepared, but Snute saw this coming and was already building Lings.
Except Bailey Nest on the way too. Yeah, this is a
That's
pretty easy
tough.
defense for him. Nice surround. The mineral line actually ends up being quite good. If he uproots the Spore Crawler, it would help a ton, but he wants the anti-air to shoot the Oracle, so a little bit better in that regard. The Queen lives with 1 health! Oh.
I don't think it's worth losing both Oracles, so I'm actually glad DnS pulled away. He's not getting that Queen.
Still, though, man, that sucks because that attack was pretty invested for him at this point. Now left with very little army on the other side of the map. He's going to rely on overcharges for defense. We have a Void Ray coming out, but I don't think it's for cool moves. I think it's for just desperation of defense.
Well, it's going to be clear up Overlords and help out a little bit if Snute were to go for an attack. But DnS just scouted that the fourth base is down, and he should be able to get to 3 bases saturated with tech on the way. But Snute should have his own little power-up moment here, right? So probably going to Hydras after. I'm surprised not going for a Roach Warren. Snute was the guy that almost always added in 8 Ravagers, even if he was going in for some other type of composition. Wow.
Yeah, we just got 4 different brands of Kriegasm, and Prognosticator just dominated the top tier by quite a bit. 11,337. So that's not just that it's a big donation. He mathed it out to make it leads.
Nice. He also says it's the Popeye's Betrayal Relief Fund.
The PBRF. I like it. I like it a lot. Talk more on that in a moment. The big attack commences. The banelings pop off, but the force fields protect the pylons. And if DnS didn't have those force fields, I think he actually lost this. Like, he just lost the game. But those were such sick force fields. He bought himself a little bit more time. Now he's microing some units in the mineral lines. He's got a couple of units in the warp prisms. He's going to unload. And it looks like Snute's attack isn't going to be as devastating, but it's still getting a lot of damage done.
It is. I mean, kudos to DnS for holding while he could, or how he did, but I was a little surprised that Snute was even going to attack with that. He doesn't have that great of a drone count despite having a 4th base, but I think that's what he was banking on, that DnS would not be prepared.
So
now he's going to go back to drone.
DnS was certainly prepared in terms of like reaction, but I don't think it's easy to prepare for something of that magnitude. +1 melee weapons for these Lings, they all had really good hits. And of course the banelings rolling in too. I thought for sure the banelings were just going to take out the pylons immediately and there'd be no chance to survive. Make your time. All your bases are belong to us.
Yes. Another attack comes in at the same time we get a donation.
Oh.
The timing!
Holy guacamole, Riamar. Thank you so much. $1 for every prayer required for DnS to somehow live through this. Banley speed kicks in, but the Zealots are going to be taken out. The probes might live, but the Lings run by and they get to the main. Let's not forget that 3rd base is still pretty open, pretty exposed. Anything like throws at him is basically going to do damage.
Yeah. This Void Ray is trying to help out as much as possible. 2nd Void Ray even.
Oh, he surrounds the Stargate. This is actually a pretty cool move.
Yeah, it's not too useful at this point. So 16 probes down, a lot of chaos, but DnS still has 53. It's not terrible, and he still managed to keep kind of a calm head and get his upgrades and tech. So maybe he could play this game out further. Snute exactly getting ahead leaps and bounds, but he certainly is ahead.
Yeah, I mean, so many workers have been killed through these 2 attacks. 35 in total. Looking at the resources lost, too, it wasn't even that bad for Snute. If this was a situation where he had thrown away so much army, he was behind like 5,000 minerals because of this, like, that would really suck. But he's in a good spot. Now we got Archons coming out. If DnS positions himself here with these Void Rays especially, I think he holds on to this 3rd. But it's still the matter that he's recovering off of that damage. And Snute's now +2 melee, so if he gets on top of any buildings, they're going to die. 1 Banley hit now required to hit the probes instead of 2. There's just a lot more volatility coming with the follow-up attack. Including, I forgot to even mention, there's Hydras.
Yeah, there's a lot that DnS got to deal with, and while he has decent units, there is not enough of them. He's got no sentries, so he's got to hope the Archons soak up all the Banelings. Even if the Charge Lots don't die to those, I think there's too many Hydras and Lings.
Yeah,
it's going to be really hard to hold.
Numbers might be overwhelming at this point. There's not going to be that easy force field trick like we saw before. At least not with the units at hand, but the Banelings take out those pylons immediately. Robo could have been sniped by the Hydras, maybe? He's really playing careful around those Archons.
Yeah, I certainly think it's worth here to snipe that Robo.
Yeah, the Immortal,
Charge Lots, no!
But the Immortal's not even going to be that effective, but it will soak hits. However, Robo does go down, and only 2 Immortals in play. Archons get surrounded. The Banelings aren't hitting much, but that's okay, because the fact that they got saved for the Zealots ends up working out for Snute. Again, like, he's not going to kill DNS here, but DNS is so far behind. Army supply down to 20. No upgrades to really speak of. No storms to look forward to. He's clinging on to life right now.
He is, but not in a, like, okay, DNS, let's just get it over with already way. Like, he's actually being kind of impressive with how much he's holding.
Yeah.
Snute might be a little bit more at fault at this, because he probably thought he could have broke him by now. And maybe a different player, he takes a little bit more caution, but...
This really reminds me of when we watch Mana play in these desperate situations, because he
Sure.
plays like a god who looks like, oh my god, he might actually bring it back. But DNS, as well as he's been playing, again, I yearn for the fact that he's not moving towards anything. He's playing here and now, while Snoot's continuing to advance forward.
Well, if DNS could have squeezed in storms, that probably would have been the best.
That would have won him the
Unfortunately, he
game.
tries to go for a robo again instead.
With the way these defenses have been going, I'm not saying that the defenses would have been as good if he had put that money towards Storms, but I think with the trades he's been getting, honestly, like Storms on top of Baneleys and Hydras, this could have been a game that shifted back towards his favor, but nothing in that wall, so Ling's going to get through. Baneleys are not going to connect to pretty much anything. A bit of a waste there.
Yeah, not bad in the splits with the Archons, and they did take out the charge lots, though, and DNS is not reinforcing, so his important units are finally going down. There they are.
This has been a struggle for Snute, though. Like, I love that DNS has been holding on the way he has been. This is a very strong-looking player, but GG's get called, and eventually Snute does take the win.
Bad.
Not bad at all, but damn, during that game, again, Riamar gave us $50. Thank you so very much. Prognosticator, I didn't actually get to read it. I just heard what you said, but it looks like, yeah, the Popeyes Betrayal Relief Fund, 11,337 bits is so sick, dude, and you were nerdy enough to math that out. I'm impressed. We had Gorobash just sub now with the Twitch Prime sub, and we had a Garabaj person sub before. Alaris, thank you so much for the 6 months. Venchik as well for 19, and I think that catches us up.
I think so, yeah.
Saving esports. Oh, sorry, and he had a message too. Saving esports for half a year feels good, man. Thanks for the hard work, you guys. Heart Shrek loves you, Heart. Yeah, it didn't feel like that watching your video, Annie. All right. Sounds like one person here is getting those hearts. Some person got mentioned, but the other.
That video. I'm a special person. We talked about special things, Rifkin.
By the way, Proxima is the next map. If you can host DNS sending us the request.
Okay.
No updates from the bottom side of the bracket just yet. So Nurcho and Bly still playing against one another in Braddock and Blue Cheese. Nurcho and Bly have had a history of like some of my favorite ZVZs across time, but yeah, unfortunately not quite game we're gonna get to cast. So we're catching the qualifying match happening right now.
Right. Go, go, go. Oh my god. I might take a nap after this. Not because I'm actually tired.
Because it'll help you not eat.
Saving up the chicken. Gotta get closer.
It's like reverse hibernation. Like you're not eating beforehand, you want to eat afterwards, you just gotta sleep.
Yeah, either that or play Civ.
Man, we need to play Civ again. That was actually a lot of fun when we did that one time.
Yeah, we never finished it. I mean, clearly I was gonna win, but like, whatever.
Cleopatra was being a real hoe, man.
Yeah, well, you were a warmonger. Like, that was definitely on you.
Okay, welcome back to the TING Open Season 3 qualifying match for the second European qualifier. We're getting into game number 2 and kicking it off down here to the bottom left. He's down 1 game. We'll see if he can bring it back. It's going to be DNS.
In the top right, as the Blue Zerg, he is Snute.
Of course, in America, DNR is like a do not resuscitate. Maybe DNS is like do not suffocate. Don't kill me, bro. Let me live.
Isn't DNS like a technical term?
I'm sure it is. But I'm not going to embarrass myself by trying to guess at that without knowing anything more than that.
Yeah, DNS, like flushing your DNS and stuff, right?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because in the command prompt and stuff.
Yeah.
look at you go. You're so smart, you little techie.
Ow.
You.
Oh, thanks. I try. I don't know why if that's actually his name. You know, could be.
It's probably something French like dernier non soufflé.
I think he said one French word. It was soufflé.
I'm pretty sure I said 3 French words. Do we have somebody in chat that can confirm? I'm not asking if I made a coherent statement.
Was. What was the D in your sentence?
Don't worry about it. I'll give it to you later.
Ah!
Hey.
A good joke.
Snute jumps ahead to the outside base. We talked about this earlier when we saw the map. There's, of course, the pocket in-base one. But eventually, at some point, rocks can be broken down and perhaps there's backdoor attacks, so taking the more forward base. It's a little bit easier for Zerg to do anyways. Don't rely on wall-offs the same way others do. But the double gateway opening out of DNS is kind of interesting.
Sure. Chronoing at least one of them, but probably both. If his Nexus was done. But it's only halfway done, so... 2 adepts are going to run across the map. It's a large map, you know. It's even larger than if it was like point to point, right? There's a couple of windingness to it.
Yeah, you got to go
but
through the middle.
If he catches Snute going for a really fast third hatch, no lings, no speed, then these adepts can get even 5 drones, and that's pretty good.
By the way, thank you to Ubidom for the 11-month resub. Glad to have you on board once again. And again, just a quick reminder, guys, check out our sponsors too before we get into the action. All the information available down here, down below. They sponsor Neeb. They sponsor this tournament. bttv.ting.com.
Hey. Well, we have 6 lings on the way. They will not have speed, so the adepts could make it out, but it depends on if DNS wants to commit with them.
Drones stack up and pull away. I think Snute contemplated for a moment, but just trying to mine through the madness, but realizing it wouldn't be worth it. Transfer goes off, and he's still not on top of these just yet, so it's a little bit annoying. And behind this, DNS ends up going for a Stargate.
Yeah, this isn't so bad because speed isn't already done. You know, like these would have been caught and almost killed by now. But he just used a shade, so gotta wait for the to actually transfer over again. He could have killed that one adept had he stayed there. But he has enough lings now, with speed, to finally take care of it. But that was a lot. That lasted a very long time, and it did end up getting 5 drones. Perfect. Perfect.
Yeah, and it wasn't that crazy of an opener, but it's weird to watch the dedication behind this. Hell, even into a Zealot, but he's still producing more adepts. When you pair these up with the Oracle afterwards, this could be a really... Again, this could be like 4 to 6 adepts, plus a Zealot, moving across the map with an Oracle. I think you just steamroll through Queens for defense.
Well, and then just one other gateway. I guess it will give him 3 with it. I mean, a fast third on this base, like you play on Dusk Towers, can definitely be what turns out to be the norm. But I think DNS really wanted to try and catch Snute being greedy, looking at the map. Like, oh, he's going to be the one that takes 2 bases. It didn't really work out exactly that way, but the result was still the same. He got the drone kills he wanted.
Okay, I figured out a new DNS thing. But it's gonna involve a hyphen, okay?
Oh, that doesn't count.
One tiny hyphen, okay?
Oh.
Die hyphen my nemesis Snute.
Die hyphen nigh?
My, so like die, my nemesis Snute.
Oh, gotcha. This doesn't... You can't just put a hyphen somewhere.
I believe I just did, Zombie Grub. Find me the rule that says you can't just do that.
Can't do that. Lings have speed, and Snute did have Lings prepared. The Oracles also weren't comboed with this, really, so only 1 Adept makes it into the main base, and 3 drones isn't worth those Adepts.
No, and unfortunately, with the Oracles not getting to pair up for more damage, I felt like DNS had really cool potential with that attack, but it really fell flat, and part of this was, Snute, again, ready. He doesn't just jump into this. You guys will notice he's been very meticulous with the way he moves his lings to get the surround and drones get shuffled. Like, he's not been playing this like haphazardly.
Tries a attempted run by, but DNS has SimCity and Adepts, so it's on to drones and more drones, and it might look very similar to last game. Biggest difference, of course, being the map. DNS doesn't have to worry about getting concaved on or split push because there's only 1 choke into his third. So
again,
if Snute were to do Baneling run-bys, of course it would really help.
I forgot how beautiful the background on this map is, too, as we skirt around the outside of the map. But
This was very good.
8 kills, and he could have gotten the queen. I actually would have loved to have seen him focus that down, but I think priority on the drones in that instance was actually a really good call, considering how few he'd been able to kill up to this point. But both players on 3 bases, and both players on similar worker counts.
Looks like Snoot's gonna take the middle of the map base, which again I brought up last time we saw it with a Zerg player. Like, it could be this base, or it could be the one off to the right that becomes the norm. Both are not exactly expanding toward your opponent, but one is a little bit farther than the other. I think I feel like Zerg in this matchup have really taken more control, though, to be honest. Like, you have your Adept run by, sure, that they have to respond to, but when it comes to the mid game, I think it's the Protoss that suddenly becomes afraid of, like, Baneling, you know, surrounds and Hydra something out and stuff like that. So I think more aggressive 4th bases make sense in this matchup. But he tries to take it and gets denied by a Void Ray.
Yeah, the Void Ray across the map, I mean, cleaning up Overlords is going to be cool. Shutting down a base if you can. Neato, burrito, but it is slow and exposed, and things like Hydra's coming out might just get a free pick off on a very expensive unit.
Templar Archive's on the way already. He is getting to the same composition he was last game, but again, with the added benefits of an easy choke to defend, so he could even maybe make it to Storm. I wonder, I'm gonna imagine Snute accommodates for this, realizing what the map is, probably having played on it maybe a dozen times by now. But we'll see what that means. Like, he could just try and brute force his way if he thinks he has enough army, but he also could just try and be a little more passive and go to the late game.
Well, as this goes on, I gotta give a shout out to my man Tempo showing up in chat. Dude, I am so excited for you to record that thing. You have no idea, dude. I've been showing it off to everybody. I made that stupid highlight clip.
What a vague thing to say. That is like nothing's actually happening, so vague. Just like, hey man, you know that thing we're doing? You're right, it's so exciting.
Actually, I might just link it in chat. The preview for it's gonna be great. But hold the phone on that note. We do have DNS moving towards Storms this game, and I really like this move, but it might be coming a little bit too late.
You can hold a saxophone on a note.
Wow, that's true.
So this can be a blessing and a curse, this choke right here. Obviously, force fields go down against Banelings. No Banelings gonna hurt you. But if they ever just try and poke and prod, you're gonna lose buildings because you don't want to go through the choke yourself either. So that's kind of what happened there. And his Robo, even, like, really, if Snute wanted to be very dangerous, could have been under fire too.
Well, again, going back to the point of Storms for a moment there, I was having a bit of a heart attack because it's like, oh, is he really going to get hit hard right before the Storms are ready to go? But it looks like Storms are completed at this point. And the Lings or whatever, you wash the Lings off, that's great, cool, Archons are there for that. It's about the Hydras. The best thing you can do is land Storms on top of Hydras.
Right. Oh, we have Lurkers on the way now, though, and DNS has gone into a rather heavy charge lots Archon composition, which, I mean, it's okay, but the Immortals are really what survives and packs that punch against Lurkers. An apostrophe.
She hyphenated the apostrophe in canon. You're not allowed to do that. What I say...
Tell her where she's... Look, it tells her not to do that.
Show me the rules that say otherwise. Look, I get it, okay? We're pushing the boundaries of hyphens. But when you start a... Bro, that's a really nice stasis trap combination. This is something, too, where if DNS times this out, he could land the Storm as this is wearing off and probably kill all those Lings. Or just position Archons. He's busy warping in elsewhere, not paying attention. And these Zealots, they're not going to get a lot done, unfortunately. Snute was ready for this. It looks like... He just goes for attacks.
Yeah.
A huge tech swap coming out of Snute. 23 Mutalisks and a Lurker Den on the way.
I remember seeing this fire, but with the Lurker Den, I just thought maybe it was for a later Broodlure transition, and you'd only get, say, 8, right? Because that's usually what he would do back in the day when he had this perfect ZvP. Get 8 Mutas, deal with the Warp Prism, no big deal. But this is a real Muta swap, and even though DNS has already started Phoenix production, it's one at a time.
The Mutas are really cool and all. I really like the Lurkers that go with this, though. There's not that many Immortals. He's producing them slowly one at a time. But Lurkers do beat out this army pretty well, I feel. And if there's going to be a lot of focus on making things that shoot the Mutas, then there's not going to be a lot of emphasis on things to shoot the Lurkers.
It's a tricky position for DnS, who just expanded too. He's got a lot to cover.
Yeah, and the Mutalisk mobility here is going to be really rough to deal with. Flies down here. There's a cannon. That'll help a little bit, I suppose.
Tiny cannon. So hard.
Hold me closer, tiny cannon.
Phoenix, as I said, they're not plentiful, and in fact, aggressively moving into the Phoenixes means the Stargate would be taken out, so Fleetbeacon might already be on the way, but no more Phoenixes. The Mutas are going to force a base trade in which Snute has Lurkers and Banelings and
Spine Crawlers. Yeah, he put down that wall of them, and I wasn't sure if he was planning to go through with those like build cancels, but looks like they do help buy a bit of time. The Lurkers are getting some good shots. I don't think there's detection. So while he might lose a base over here, I don't think he'll lose much more than that. Or he shouldn't, at least. 2 observers being cranked out now. He desperately needs to get this across the map. Picking off the Temple Archives. Going to shut down Archon production too. Really just nothing to deal with these mutas.
DnS is truly all in, but he even realizes he can't push up that ramp.
Yeah, and even if he has detection for this, I mean, let's be honest, there's so many Lurkers that are going to be just driving into your army. You're going to die. I think this might be a little too far gone. Snute just kind of running away with it now in the late game. It's not just that he went 1 tech path, he went like 3, and they're all working out for him. That's poor cannons. Those are like alive cannons.
DnS is going to try a different path attack. He could just go behind, like to the rocks, and force Snute to really your position, but it just looks like he's stalling. Just like, I'm not exactly sure what to do.
It also might be a little bit too just being unfamiliar with the map, right? Like, this is not a map where it's intuitive to go behind and hit these rocks because you don't really know that they're there. You've played on it, like, for 1 day.
Yeah. Most of these pro gamers have not played on them in the PCR. Sure. Probably been laddering. Yeah, Fleetbeacon finally finishes, and the Stargate does as well, but these mutas have done their job, and then some. Snute is banking tons of money, and he could go into an infestation for Brood Lords, but might as well just max out on a ground army and kill him.
I would actually say these Phoenix pose a really big threat, and not because of the anti-air for the Mutalisk, which is part of their job, but the fact that they'll be able to lift the Lurkers out of the ground and maybe just shut down Snute's ground army.
Maybe. Well, Lurkers don't want to be accompanied by something, even in large numbers. A little bit dangerous.
Yeah, the Lurkers are so expensive too. These are not easy to replace units. I mean, the Hydra alone is already pretty expensive, so it takes more. But all of these Banelings, all of these Lurkers, it just feels like everything Snute's made up at this point. Oh god, those storms are good. Ooh, he just wants to go for this one-hit wonder to win the game, but it's gonna cost him so much. But look at his bank, right? 3,000 minerals, 1,000 gas. He's able to maybe afford some of these losses, but nothing that would be too foolish.
Yeah, he's still got to be careful. I think he realized that when all his Banelings popped that storm, but he is on his way to an infestation pit, so Fungals could join the party, but thinking more towards the Hive and potential Brood Lords. DnS is on 4 bases and clearly has the tech to get to Tempest, so Brood Lords would not be the instant win, but it'd be a very slow build-up, because even on 4 bases, he's only at 29 probes.
What is this drill even building? It's hitting nothing. Useless.
It's automated, man. It doesn't have any control of its own destiny.
I guess if you think about it, we're all kind of automated in some way then.
Yeah. Thinking back to that game you made me play.
I know you didn't like it, but I had a really good time watching you play, so thank you for playing.
I managed to give it a 5 out of 10 at the end of it. Like, it was okay.
Alright, Banelings take out most of the probes, in fact, all of the probes except for the one mining gas. They decide to roll through to the main, but turn it back on the army. Force fields are good. Snute's Banelings get absolutely wasted, and this did not distract any sort of opening for him to move on the right side. So, you know, a lot of this game, still, like 53 drones to 17 probes. DnS is almost out of money. But once again, he's played this really well with what limited resources he has, but it's still looking like it's not going to be enough to beat somebody like Snute.
Yeah. It's been a theme of this series. Not a bad fight at all. That good concave, the Immortals, Archon still going to have a lot of damage. But Snute would just replace it all.
And we still got Zealots harassing down here, but Snute's taking the north side while this goes on, so not too bad. Banelings actually managed to connect to something through Storms and Archons. Go figure. But the army dies, and Snute has to use that giant bank he had banked up and remax on just Well, anything he can, because DNS's army's pushing through. 91 supply still strong.
Well, this might be a problem.
Your
Snute might not have enough of a good army to deal with this.
Well, I don't know. My asterisk on this kind of comes down to that air army. He made Corruptors to deal with the Phoenix, but if he loses all the mutas, then it won't matter.
Well, the Archon's helping out quite a bit. There's 2 more Archons as well.
He's getting the hits. The mutas
Amazing
are gone.
splash. That Archon won't even die. I think Snute might have just lost this game.
Wow! I can't believe that either. This blows me away. DNS had really good defense, and that's great and everything, but it just felt like at every turn, Snute was winning. And for all of this to be thrown away in like one bad engagement, that's what I was talking about, that one-hit wonder thing. So much money was invested in banelings and lurkers, and look at the resources lost, right? That's so indicative of that throw from Snute.
I don't think DNS can macro out of it, though, so he's...
No, he's got to go now.
Don't run back.
Like, he's got to catch the mutas 2 at a time. He's got to catch the Hydras as they're coming out of these hatcheries all not together. Like, he's still got a chance to make this work, but he has to do it now, because every moment that passes by in this game, you know, every 60 seconds, a minute passes, Zombie Grub. And
Yes,
every minute passes makes this worse for DNS.
There's nothing Snute can do. It's actually just dead.
Yeah, the Hydra's coming out were an interesting choice. They've got damage, but Chi-Chi will play DNS.
Clearly, I think Broodlords should have been an addition. They would have at least forced the Tempest out if you could even get them, and there just weren't enough. That's so cool, I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right, well, we're going to go to game number 3 then, and a small commercial break before then. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you for tuning in. I'll see you in a couple minutes. All right, folks, welcome back. Game number 3. Things are tied up 1-1. I really didn't expect the series to go like this, but certainly an interesting set of games we have at hand. Spawning here in the bottom left side of the map is Blue. He's on Team Liquid. It's Snute.
In the top right is the red Protoss. He is DNS.
Every 60 seconds in Africa, a minute passes. Together we can stop this. Yeah, nice memes, guys. That's the joke I was going for. But I do want to point out we did have some results in the losers bracket during that last game. And Blue Cheese, I don't know who Blue Cheese is, but they beat Braddock. And he goes on to fight against Nurchio.
Oh, we've cast him before. He's a Terran player.
Oh, nice. Most importantly, not Guru in disguise.
Correct. Good point.
But yeah, so that's gonna be awesome down there. But of course, again, the winner of this, they qualify through. Yay, hurrah, we're good to go. But the loser will go to fight against one of those 2 players.
Yeah. Which I'm gonna guess is Nurchio. Which was decent, and he did have another good run. I feel like in the other team qualifiers last season, but I'm not entirely sure. But a good enough run to beat Nurchio? Not so sure.
Well, got some. Who's this? Rubberman 99. That's the slipper guy, by the way. If you guys have ever bought an Itchy Boy slipper, that's the man with the plan who made it happen. So he subs and says, Slipper Man, 37 months. Thank you very much. And of course, again, just while the game opens up, I would be remiss not to mention checking out the sponsors. Rifkin, we get it. We get it. You've said it 2 times already, but you guys don't understand. I love them so much. They're not paying us extra to like talk about them every game. I just really, really, really love Ting. So make sure to check out bttv.ting.com. More importantly, I love Jesse from Ting. He's a nice guy. And I'm really hoping that we get some viewer games versus Jesse over at that offline finals.
Yeah. That'll be fun times. And I got here Cactus Valley, and Snute's making quite a few wings. Probably just anticipating the Adept attack again, but joke's on him. There's only 1 gateway. Stalker. Waste of lings. He really doesn't need 8 for that.
Rest in peace, little probe. Actually, maybe we'll get home in time?
Maybe. DNS does have to now respond to the lings, I suppose. So Snute's not sending all of them across the map, so they are really just staying at home, kind of useless. Snute does take his 3rd base now, and DNS once again going to go over for the Stargate.
All right, so a bit of miscommunication with our admin. Sorry, that's why I'm typing and doing a great job observing. Nurchio and Blue Cheese are already playing. They were not supposed to, but Oh, well. Things happen. So we won't have 3 best of 3s, but 2 best of 3s. So this into another qualifying match right away. It's a shorter cat. I don't mind. I don't mind. Give me time to go to Subway. Silver linings, right?
Exactly. Look for the silver lining and everything. It'll give you more time to think about food. Great.
Well, I would actually be really surprised. If DnS won this, that'd be a crazy upset. But Snoot's already getting the upper hand in this game, so I'm not sure how much this chance is going to be. The Lings ran through to the main. Nothing stopping him over here either. Big pick off of this pylon. Depowers.
I'm gonna get it.
Well, is that going to shut down warp gates? That's what I was thinking about.
True.
I wasn't really caring about the Oracle, but the warp gate getting shut down, that's going to really sting.
Wait.
No, of course, he'll put the new pylon down, and this won't be the end of the world, but that's a nice pick off out of Snute.
Yeah. And some decent scouting, of course, too, in case you didn't realize there's going to be an Oracle. The Oracle had to use his energy, so it cannot go across the map to do anything, and Snute does get the opportunity to drone. What?
Yeah, taking that third base pretty quick in Cactus Valley is going to not just give you the opportunity to drone a mine, but also that creep spread, which is so much more important on this map, I feel.
Once again, going into Ling upgrades, probably Hydras, probably Banelings. DnS went from a pretty good map for 3 bases, and even 4th, really, to a very bad map for 3rd base. So Snute, really, he could have pushed the buttons a little bit more and tried to deny the 3rd base with a handful of Lings, even without +1, as it is just, you know, kind of far away. And if he doesn't get the 3rd, he can go into the natural, potentially. Like, there's risks, for sure. And he is making about 20 Lings. That might be what he's thinking of.
The Oracle sees the 3rd base, but does he know it's a 3rd? Or a 4th and not a 3rd? He hasn't scouted northwards yet.
Spire very early. The Spire did so much damage last game. It was really his lack of bigger, beefier units, I suppose, that lost him the game. But it was definitely not the Spire choice. So maybe thinking the same thing. Just get it earlier when they don't have as many Archons, and I'll be great.
Small shout out to Denver, chilling out in chat. He was, of course, one of the players who really caused an upset in the TING Season 3 first European qualifiers, beating out a laser in the winners bracket.
Yes, he did. ZPZ was on fire.
Nice to see him hanging out in chat. Bonjour. Yep. Buongiorno.
Bonjour. Oh god.
Bonjour. Salut. Comment ça va?
I actually talked with the French guys about accents, you know, and how like we take the French accent, and I was like, I don't know, I don't really think very much about it. But then they were saying that apparently the American accent for French is very cute. Like they were very insistent that it was cute. So like I said something, and they're like, it's so cute, bonjour, and like they're making fun of me. It's like, what's not supposed to be done?
Zamro, give us a French American accent. Go.
Bonjour. Wait, a French American accent? Oh, I can't do that. No, oh my god. I'm not even gonna try. So anyway.
My name is Jessica.
But they told me that to sound like a French person, like get the accent down, it just sounds like you're super bored and you don't care and you have no soul. And I was like, that's grim.
That also is pretty French, I gotta say.
Anyway. It's 4 bases, 70 drones. So even if the devs got a couple of drones, it's not that big of a deal. The mutas have been revealed, and DnS is going to try and start his Phoenix production, but again, only off that 1 Stargate.
Well, one of the things I'm a little bit worried about is, first off, for DNS's sake, Snute is a macro monster. You let this guy get 70 drones on 4 bases, you're already in trouble. That being said, Snute did do some pretty risky moves, some pretty, okay, say dedicated attacks, because throwballing sounds mean, but it was really a dangerous game where Snute was playing a little bit more cavalier than he needed to. If he plays a little bit, I think, closer to the vest this time around, and he doesn't let DnS just run away with great defense fights over and over and over again, like, this attack looks great, because this is hitting before there's really much out of DnS. The Adept's going to take care of the Lings, maybe, but if the Lings take care of the Stalkers so the mutas get free reign, that's where Snute starts running away with the game.
He doesn't have enough mutas for this. Like, originally he did, but the warp ins, the Hotun overcharge, just a little bit too much, so he's forced to pull back, and that's going to give DnS time to get to double Phoenix production, but Snute is already accommodated for this and is going for Corruptor, so it's a really good old-fashioned Mutagame.
He's also
Turn-offs.
invested in the armor upgrades first, which I really like for a couple of different reasons, but obviously for the Corruptors most, they'll take more hits.
DnS secured a third base, but a fourth base is still going to be difficult to get, especially with mutas flying around. Lings are going to be well upgraded as well, so 20 lings can
This is
easily
like-
cancel.
It's like a pylon minefield. You gotta be careful about these overcharges if they were available, but they're not, so Snute just takes out the mothership core. Nothing left to really shoot up. The Corruptors are busy keeping the Phoenix entertained, so the mutas can just do whatever they'd like, and this is starting to get a little bit messy for DNS.
Yeah,
a
it
little
looks
bit
like it
too
might just be
messy.
game.
Yeah, look at the
Phoenixes
upgrades
weren't
too.
plentiful enough. No upgrades on them.
Well, I also forgot Snute had gone for +2 melee while this was going on, so all of his lings are going to tear down any buildings they get their hands on. Banlings will take care of things. He's corrupting and caustic spraying the buildings.
Nice. Yeah, the lack of blink really hurt DNS for that specific engagement too. Like, you got Resident Glaives that anticipate the mutas, and then he put all of his minerals and gas into air instead of helping out his stalkers, which would have been able to blink at least into a less condensed area.
I didn't realize how sick Caustic Spray was for forcing a fight until just now, because I think in the past, right, we've seen so many Corruptor Mutalist compositions that are like, okay, I'll just run away from the Corruptors and you can't do anything about it. But the fact that they were killing the Stargate made the Phoenix have to fight. GG! Snute will be the qualifier #1 from this second European qualifier. It also means we're going to see him in the round of 32, so I'm really excited about that. DNS falls now to the losers bracket, where he'll have a chance to fight against Nurchio or Blue Cheese, but as said, they're currently in game. Again, minor miscommunication. Honestly, it's my bad more than theirs, but both of us just kind of messed that up, so we're going to have to wait for a little bit of time. For a fair bit of time, I would say, even, because I don't know how long that game is going to take. It could be over in a couple of minutes. It could be a really long game. The new maps have certainly made things interesting and different, so maybe they'll be short. Fingers crossed, so we're not waiting too long. So if they go to game 3, we will hop into game 3. If they don't, then, well, we'll just have to wait out for the winner to fight versus DNS. But congratulations to Snute once again. Before we go to a break, again, just a little bit about our sponsors. I'm not actually telling you guys to buy anything, but just to tell you a cool story about Ting. I said that they've been treating us really well, and that's kind of cool because they've given us things like they've given us the SIM cards for our phones, which I think only cost like $5 or $10 anyways, but they give us SIM cards to the phone. They loaded us up with some prepaid amount on the account, so like Zombie Urban, I can go and use the phones pretty easy for me going to the States. You know, it doesn't cost me much to roam. I'll tell you right now, if you're like me in Canada and you're using TELUS, roaming costs aren't that bad. It's like $7 or $10 a day. But when I'm using Ting, it's like $2 to $5 a day. So again, you're saving money if you're going to the States, even if you're not an American who regularly uses Ting. So I can't, there's nothing bad to say about them. I really, truly enjoy them. You know, there's always times where, like, when we had G2A as a sponsor, there was a lot of like hard justifications to try and say, like, check out this sponsor, right? Some of you guys really liked them, some of you guys really hated them. Ting, I don't think has any bad side, any downside to it. At least nothing that we've seen so far. So, big thank you to them for helping make this possible. But anyways, commercial break. We'll be back in a bit. Again, it could be short, it could be long, but we're just going to go to the break screen until we're ready to go with that final qualifying match. It'll be either Nurchio or Blue Cheese versus DNS. See you soon.